Having a desire is just the beginning. The real challenge is keeping that burning desire alive, especially in the face of setbacks and distractions.
If you don't have energy, how are you going to follow through? And also, if you don't have clarity of mind, how are you going to receive your intuitive messages to tell you that you're on the right track?
Your vision lights you up and excites you so much. It's like the rabbit's got to be so hungry to go get the carrot, even though there's obstacle on the way, or it's like going up to the climbing the Himalaya. Your burning desire to get to the top is so strong that you're not going to let your ego, your body, your crazy mind stop you going there.
Sometimes when people are driving towards this desire, they're often not sure if it's their ego or their soul talking. And when it's ego, it's usually attached to somebody else's desires for us, or what we think we should be, or what society tells us we should be.
That burning desire, the burn comes from the inner flame, and your inner flame is fueled by the desire and the excitement, the passion and the excitement for what you're doing. So I think of it as what I'm doing or planning to do or thinking of lights me up.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's discussion. You may have been watching our videos, but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you have gained value from our conversations, from our channel, it would be so appreciated for us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now and even give us a like. What that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it also allows us to bring in even more guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's wonderful panel discussion.
Igniting a burning desire, how to fuel your passion and your purpose. And I'm your host, Lesley Nase, for this evening, and I work with soul-led women who feel really torn between the life they've built and the one they truly want because they haven't fully voiced who they are. I am so delighted that Sacred You has asked me to be the facilitator of these lovely, just, these entrepreneurs that are in front of me are just fabulous. And I'm so thrilled to be here tonight. And if you are here and you're listening, I'm wondering if you have a deep desire to create meaningful change for others and for the planet. Having a desire is just the beginning. The real challenge is keeping that burning desire alive, especially in the face of setbacks and distractions. No matter who you are, sustaining your passion and staying aligned with your purpose requires intentional strategies and unwavering focus. So I am thrilled to discover how our panelists have handled certain situations as they are igniting a burning desire. And I am going around almost like a circle around the table here. And I'm going to start with Charlotte. If you would introduce yourself, tell us a wee bit about yourself, that'd be great.
Okay, so I'm Charlotte Mitchell. I'm a medical herbalist, Western medical herbalist, also a traditional Chinese herbalist or practitioner, and also a biofield consultant. So I go into businesses and check their energy in relation to their success, their productivity, the relationships within the business. So yes, that's me.
Very nice. Thank you. And Anick, you're next on my roundabout here. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about the work you do.
Hello, hello, good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to be here on this panel today. My name is Anick Patry, Unique Anick, a French Canadian in Australia. And my sole purpose is I'm here to help spiritual leaders, heart-centered entrepreneurs, generally women who are here to embody their highest lucrative joy and own their creative power, speaking their true voice in the world. So that's my passion. Thank you.
Amber, you're up next.
Great, thank you. I'm Amber MAHONEY, and I have a company called Divinus Lux, which means divine light. And our purpose and mission is to help women re-embody their divine power and reconnect with their divine purpose. My background is in clinical psychology, and I just absolutely love getting to be here with you all.
Great. Natasja, you're up.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Natasja King. I'm from South Africa. I'm a Reiki master and a holistic wellness therapist. And my mission is to help people transform on the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical level.
Terrific. So we're going to start right in and with our first question. What does burning desire mean to you? And how do you personally define and connect with your purpose on a daily basis? So again, I'll start at the top with Charlotte, as I did before. So what does burning desire mean to you? And how do you personally define and connect with your purpose on a daily basis?
I think it's all to do with inspiration. When you wake up in the morning and you feel inspired, in fact, you don't want to stay in bed because you just want to get on. You want to write, or you want to create a package to help people, or whatever it is. And I think that we have that, we're born with that creativity, curiosity, inspiration. Children just love to check things out. They love to find out how does this work, or what's going on here. It's a curiosity. And I think it's not that we don't naturally have burning ambition, inspiration, curiosity. I think, what is it that gets in the way as we get older? What are the layers that sort of tend to build up? And then we get to a point where we're stuck, or we're not connected with our inspiration. The sort of things I do are definitely to do with health, really, to do with energy, because if you don't have energy, how are you going to follow through? And also, if you don't have clarity of mind, you have brain fog or anxiety, how on earth are you going to be clear? How are you going to receive your intuitive messages to tell you that you're on the right track, or just give you that picture of where you want to be, what's going to excite you? So I work very much with making sure I'm hydrated, making sure that I eat well, and also do meditation and things so that I feel that my left and right brains are quite balanced. I get the aha moments of, yes, this is exactly what I should be doing. This is the path I'm on, and I'm actually following the steps, but I'm able to execute that as well.
Inspiration, curiosity, and clarity of mind. Great. Those are wonderful things to remember. Anick, you're up.
What's your question?
What does burning desire mean to you? And how do you personally define and connect with your purpose on a daily basis?
So you've got two questions.
There are two questions. So first of all, what does it mean to you for the burning desire?
Okay, let's start with this one, and then you ask me again. my brain is one thing at a time. burning desire, what it is for me, it's really this aliveness. It's really what turns me on. Like for women, are you feeling sexual? Are you feeling sexy? Are you feeling alive? That chi energy, that sexual energy that we all have, that still can be a lot taboo in the spiritual world, but it's actually, it's a driving force. It's and then it connects to the heart. It's down the gut, goes into the heart. And so what lights you up, that's the burning desire, the burning passion, is like your vision lights you up and excites you so much. It's like the rabbit's got to be so hungry to go get the carrot, even though there's obstacle on the way. Or it's like going up to the climbing the Himalaya, there's plateau where you need to put the mask of oxygen because it's hard. You haven't done it yet. You got to get to the next plateau. But your burning desire to get to the top is so strong that you're not going to let your ego, your body, your crazy mind stop you going there. Does that resonate? Does that make sense?
Yes, I love that. That burning desire, the fact that you connected it physically to our bodies as the sexual desire and feeling that energy from that. So,
Yeah.
how do you, on a personal basis, how do you connect with your purpose on a daily basis?
Okay, me personally, Anick, how she connects to her daily, like her purpose on a daily basis. I guess for me now, it's really embodied, like it's really, it's crystal clear, like there's no more hesitation or doubt about it. It's really in the bones, like it's here, it's in the heart. So how do I connect to that? Yeah, we do forget we're humans. We can go on these sexy little patterns that take us out and distracts us. But to connect to my purpose on a daily basis is I do breath and voice. I use my voice to connect myself back to my higher self, to my true self, to my true nature. It's a daily practice of coming back to myself, to my heart. And in that place, there's a portal of energy that opens, and then I can receive the guidance that I need to for my next step of expansion, to share my message on a broader audience, for example, or to get into the next project that's really in alignment, that excites me, that's feeling alive. So for me, it's really breath and voice, movements, being in my body. Last night, I did 2 hours of dancing on the beach with friends. We do that every Monday night. And it's just really brings me so much joy and opens my heart. And that connects me with my true nature. And I guess that's the purpose. Your purpose is your true nature, is your who you truly are at the core.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That joy connecting to your true nature. Very nice. Amber, would you like the question again?
Sure.
So, what does burning desire mean to you, and how do you personally define and connect with your purpose on a daily basis?
Burning desire is, to me, is your soul's deepest calling that refuses to be silenced. That is there no matter all the programming, no matter the ego, no matter all of the stuff that we've layered on top of it. And it finds ways to like make itself known. And even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, it is that beautiful flame that lives inside of each of us that we can access at any time if we have the courage and curiosity and innovations enough to meet it. Yeah, I think that's a good description of burning desire. How I personally connect with it, I agree. It's through my body. this attunement, this alignment, being authentic. When I can be truly authentic, when I wake up in the morning and I'm looking at what is bringing me closer to self or further from, where do I feel resistance? Where do I feel alignment? Where do I feel in tune with my life? And when I lived so long out of it. I lived so long outside of my purpose and outside of this alignment that I fought it for so long. And purpose isn't something you can really think your way through. It's something that you really need to be able to feel and be present with. So your purpose holds a frequency, and we just need to be able to tune into that.
That is great. You froze a little bit during your time of talking, yet the essence of your hand on your heart and connecting and asking your body, what is it I need to know today? That's a wonderful way. We've had so many good ways of how to start the day. Natasja, would you like the question, or are you all set?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, so for me, that burning desire, the burn comes from the inner flame, and your inner flame is fueled by the desire and the excitement, the passion and the excitement for what you're doing. So I think of it as what I'm doing or planning to do or thinking of lights me up. And that's also my answer to what do I do to connect with my purpose is if I don't feel lit up inside and I'm going to my heart, exactly like Amber was saying, it comes from inside. It's a there thing, it's not a here thing. It's, do I feel excited here? Do I feel I can keep going despite, for instance, doubting myself, despite the hardships, despite being a little bit scared of what's coming, but the burning desire, the passion, the being in alignment with who I truly am is driving me, and that's overriding any other doubts I might have. And the thing is that we all have a purpose. We all have a divine reason for being here. And there's a quote from one of Florence Scovel Shinn's books, I think it's The Game of Life, where she's trying to explain what our higher self is. Now, higher self, you can call that your true self as well. And she says, there's a place that you are to fall and no one else can fall. There's something you are to do which no one else can do. And that applies to everyone. And I think a lot of the time that just applies to everyone. I don't need to go any further with that now. So it's that inner flame and that inner desire and that knowing that I'm going to get up tomorrow morning, like Charlotte was saying, and there's excitement for what's coming up. And if you don't feel that, then you are probably not living in alignment with your highest purpose.
Great. I love it. That place within that. I think we all have that place within, and you all described it so beautifully in so many different ways that anyone who is looking or finding, what do I want, confirmation that is their burning desire is great. But as some of you touched on, there are times where we get off the path of what we really want to do. There are other things that are happening along the way, whether you call them obstacles or just diversions. What are some of the common ways that cause people to lose sight of their purpose? And when they lose sight, now it's a two-parter. So what are some of the things that they lose their purpose, and how to reignite their passion back to where they want? How can they reignite it? Charlotte, we'll start with you.
I think that often it can be tribal pressure, peer pressure, but you might have an idea of what you want to do. For example, I have a client who is highly intelligent, capable of doing so many different things. And she had this burning desire in her when she was younger to train in law, to become a lawyer, but she couldn't make it for various reasons. There were lots of stumbling blocks in the way, couldn't make it. And so what's happened is she's transferred her passion and her desire to go into law to her daughter, to her second daughter. And her daughter, that wasn't her daughter's passion. And I remember the daughter came to see me, has been several times for sessions and things, and you could just tell it just wasn't what she wanted to do. So she struggled through university. It was like just a burden to finish. Now she's finished and she's graduated and she's now in law, but you can just tell that it's not coming from excitement. So I think we have to come back to ourselves and just say, what do we want? We don't need to be influenced by other people's ideas of who we should be, what we should be doing. So I could that, and also ancestral programming, beliefs, things like that also come in to that too. And in terms of, what was the second part of the question?
So the second part of that is that, so how can people reignite their passion when they are taken off course?
I think to spend time with people that are aligned to you and aligned to what you feel and aligned to your purpose. Anick was saying that she dances. She has a group once a week where she dances. That is, the group obviously are aligned with what allows her to flourish, to flow, to move forward. And I think if we can all find that support, whether it's a group, whether it's a mentor, whatever it is, that supports us to actually move forward in our area, in the area where we feel excited, inspired, and creative.
Very nice. Yeah, so tribal issues can get us off course, but if we align ourselves with others that are on the same wavelength, that works. So Anick, what are some of the common obstacles that cause people to lose sight of their purpose?
Yeah, there's so many things you can lose sight of your purpose. It's, if you listen to your ego, there's so many rabbit holes, like distractions. Life happens. You got to be strong. Like, you got to want it bad. You got to really, there's a lot of things. If you do, we all have patterns of distracting ourselves. It's easy to do. It's easy to lose track. Netflix is an invention to get lost in a rabbit hole. It's wanted. Social media, if you're not really clear why you're going there and how long you're going to spend there and what's your intention of doing something, like you have to constantly tune in and ask yourself the question. If you go, for me, it could be food. Like I go crazy for vinegar chips. It's bad, but you know what I mean? That's, I think, if I go there, I know that there might be an emotion that needs to be processed or something like that. Because we're humans, after all. We have emotions, we have fears, we have limitations in our mind, in our bodies. A lot of things can distract us, but it's constantly coming back to self, to your true nature, to your heart, and knowing why you're doing what you're doing. Why are you choosing that? And eventually you're so in your purpose, you're living it, you're breathing it, you're paid for it, you're in it, that there'll be less and less distractions, because we talked about the igniting your burning desire, your passion, your purpose. You're burning in it, you're loving it so much that you'll get over the obstacles quicker, faster.
Great. You answered both sides of that question.
Okay.
You just told us how to get back into it
All right.
quickly, was back into your heart. And I love the fact that life is messy.
Yeah.
And so when you can bring yourself back to center and you go down the rabbit hole and then come back to center, I love the fact that you said like over and over again, that's when you're really kind of embracing, is the feeling I got from what you were saying, who you are and what your burning desire is.
And I'd love to add what I'm channeling, what I'm hearing and receiving here is like these two things. Compassion, self-compassion for you human is crucial. And having the right support, aligned support, the right mentoring, the right being with people who really see you for who you truly are, and they believe in you and they want you to succeed. If you hang in circles where there's still lingering of jealousy and comparison energies and all, that's not serving. And we can feel these energies. We're sensitive beings. So really having the friends, the love, the mentoring, the support in your life, in your physical life, in your human life, that really supports your purpose. And the compassion for the little one inside who, yeah, will sometimes get messy and scared. And yeah.
Beautiful. Compassion for the little one inside you. I love that. Sacred You is a community. You can join communities like this and find someone that you align with. Amber, we're so thrilled that you are back. The question is, what are some of the common obstacles that cause people to lose sight of their purpose and then come around, and how do you bring that back to your passion? How do you reignite the passion when that happens?
Yeah, thank you. I'm so sorry about my internet connection, but I'm very happy to be back. The common obstacles. Yes, this is super fun. What I've experienced, what I see with clients, I think sometimes when people are driving towards this desire, they're often not sure if it's their ego or their soul talking. Is this something that is, and when it's ego, it's usually attached to somebody else's desires for us or what we think we should be or what society tells us we should be. And so breaking down like kind of this programming that we've grown up in, what's really ours and what's not ours. Where are we coming from a place of authenticity? Where are we coming from a place of true desire versus what ego thinks it wants? And so when we're going after what ego thinks it wants, that is always in a state of we're going to burn out because it's not truly being fueled by our soul. It's not really being fueled by our true purpose. How do we get, when people lose sight of their purpose, I often am like, are you actually in line with your true purpose or the one that you think that you should be doing, what you think that you should be achieving, or the life that you think that you should be aiming for? So really getting back to what is calling them and where is the signal getting distorted? Going back to what we put in our bodies, our signal, if we can't get a clear signal, then we really can't get reignited and re-engaged. So what food are we eating? What are we watching? Who's surrounding us? What traumas are we not willing to face? All of this stuff that creates all of this cloudiness, all of this distortion and fogginess that keeps us from being able to really discern what is ours and how, and really connecting from a place of immeasurable power and fuel. So when we get stuck in our trauma responses, when we get stuck in people pleasing, when we get stuck in this programming, how do we get out? We need to figure out the path inward, the path back in towards silence, towards our presence, towards our soul's calling. And sometimes that's just getting quiet, making space. Oftentimes we don't even have space in our lives to hear ourselves. So how can we start to create space for the life that is calling us? That's where I'm at with that. And how do they reignite passion when that happens? Start figuring out what is dimming your signal. Figure out what's creating resistance in your life, what's keeping you farther from what causes you in your body collapse or resistance. Start looking at those things and what's supporting, what actually brings what makes you feel alive, what makes your chest expand and your heart open. Looking at those things that make you feel more connected. Find those things. It's tapping in and being willing to step away from that isn't serving you.
Great. Stepping away from what doesn't serve us, such as the trauma, and realigning to what does. Very nice. Natasja.
Well, thank you. I'm going to go really practical here and say a big obstacle to living in alignment with your purpose is not knowing what your purpose is. That's a big one. And even if your life, especially if you are, say you're a mom, 9-to-5 job, and the job I'm doing now isn't igniting me, but I still need to get on with life, even though it's the life I don't want or the life that's not fulfilling me. I'm so deep into this, I don't have the luxury of trying to pursue my dreams and my purpose. So you shut it down, right? Because I can't go investigate what I was meant to be doing because I need to be doing what I don't like to be doing. And a huge sign usually that you are not living in alignment with your purpose is things like, I think it was Charlotte that was mentioning it, is, or maybe Amber, the burnout, the depression, those thoughts start coming up. And I was there, I know myself how that feels. And then you get those questions like, well, there should be something more to life. This can't be all there is. And when you are hearing those questions in your mind, is, oh, there's got to be more. And I don't want to get up in the morning and do my day job. I want to do something different, but I don't know what it is. That's going to, in effect, allow you to dim your light because you can't ignite it because you don't know what it is that really has to ignite it. And when I was in that position, the way I got out of it, I did a few things. So for me, it was numerology. Did a numerology report based on my birthday and my name, and that revealed my life path number, my soul urge number, my personality number. All those things gave me a huge amount of information that could help me go in line with what I'm meant to do. Another thing was human design. You could also do, I think, gene codes would probably do the same thing when you get your energetic makeup on an energy level. What am I? What do I resonate with? Another thing I did was things like meditation. And when I discovered Reiki, it was Reiki self-treatments, to constantly allow myself to check in with my true self. And that's what I think Amber also said, that is like going quiet, finding that connection and strengthening the connection to your higher self, the part of you that knows already what your purpose is. You just need to connect with it more so that the voice can speak louder. And then something really practical that really helped me find my purpose, and when I found it, to try and transition from a career that wasn't fulfilling into the one that I have now, which allowed me to live my purpose, was the book Design Your Life by Bill Burnett and David Evans. And that gave me really practical guidelines and advice on making a career change. So my obstacles to finding your purpose is not knowing your purpose. And then these, 4 things that I did and I felt really useful. And then once you know what your purpose is, then you can start on a whole new phase of trying to incorporate that and moving into it.
Wonderful way of looking at that. I like that you use different modalities like the numerology, the human design, and the gene codes, where there's a common thread through that to certainly help you find your desires. Excuse me. So I'm wondering now if you can share a pivotal moment when you had to really, I always like the word fight. So maybe when was a pivotal moment that you had to keep working to keep your desire alive within you? And what was the biggest thing that you learned from that? So, what was the pivotal moment in your life where you found you got the clarity, you're ready to move forward, but you're really having to work at it to keep it alive? Charlotte?
I knew what I wanted to do very early on when I was growing up. So when I was around 12, I planted my first herb garden. I used to create lots of lotions and potions in our country kitchen in Norfolk. And I used to drink the most ridiculous things like cider vinegar and honey when I was 12. And molasses and lemon and things like that. And my family had no idea what I was doing. They just weren't compatible with it at all. So I wondered where it came from, but I was actually adopted. And I realized later when I met my birth families, both sides, that I did have herbalism coming through one side, psychic abilities through the other. So obviously, I knew what I wanted to do very early. I then went straight onto the School of Herbal Medicine. I studied herbal medicine, then I went to Chinese medicine. So all the way on, I had a real flow in my career. It just went from one to the other. I started traveling and got a job in Auckland at a herbal pharmacy. And so it was just like that. But where it changed was COVID, really. So in 2019, 20 or 20 really, I was due to go to Japan. I was working in Asia at the time, and I was due to go to Japan and speak at a conference. And I was working there a few times a year. I would go for a few weeks, do sessions, workshops, seminars, things like that, working for a big company there as well. And then suddenly I couldn't travel. And it's, oh, okay, so here I am. And we were based in Australia. So I was in Sydney and thinking, gosh, what do I do now? And I thought, okay, I better sort out my website. So I did very practical things to start with. But all the collaborations that I'd had before just weren't working in the same way. And especially because at the time, those people I was working with in Japan really weren't into online sort of seminars and workshops. They were definitely more face-to-face. It's completely changed now, but at that time it was a little tricky. So I just felt as though I didn't quite know where to go. And my mistake and my lesson was, rather than just taking a deep breath and, as usual, as I had done in the past, just going with my intuition. Okay, so what should I be doing? Should I have a little bit of a break? I didn't. I pushed a little bit. It's okay, where am I going? What am I doing? Rather than going with the flow. And it almost, I think, I attracted the door shutting. So I'd try this, it didn't work. I would think, okay, I had an opportunity coming in. I thought, oh, let me take that. I can work with this person or that person. Didn't work. It just did not work at all. And so my lesson, I think, is, well, from that was just always don't push, because if you align yourself, then your opportunities will come in. But also, when opportunities come in, don't always think you have to take them. They might not be quite right for you. They might look amazing on the surface, but just sit with it. Maybe do a little bit of a vision fest, or just maybe sit in your own space, which is what Amber was saying. Sit in your own space for a bit and just see, is this really the right way to go? Because I wasted a lot of time preparing things, creating things that actually didn't go anywhere. I'm not sure, I'm sure they're not wasted. I'm sure they're going to be used at some point. But yes, it was a little bit of a stumbling block and a phase for me, which was a little bit of a shock, but I've learned from it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because I too have had that door come down, and it's okay, now what? And I'm sure that many of our listeners have had that too. So the courage to just sit with it and take stock is wonderful. Anick.
Yeah, ask me a question.
So I'm wondering if you can share a pivotal moment in your life where you really had to work to keep your desire alive. And then you can tell us what you learned from that. But what was a pivotal moment in your life?
There's been a few. There's been a few. Like Charlotte, the COVID, I think for every human who it has some kind of impact on our lives. Like before COVID, I was doing a lot of live events. I did a TEDx talk. I had a meetup group with 650 people, I think. Be You and Live You Calling. And I was doing live events, and from these live events, like a taster workshop, and then from there, taking people to enter my 1 year, 6 months programs and enter into other experiences in my universe. And when COVID happened, there was no more live events happening. And my throat is responding to that, reacting rather. And so I really did a big pivot there. That was really powerful for my own liberation and my own well-being. I don't like to use the word healing anymore, but yeah, to a degree, a form of healing is because I'm French Canadian, so I'm fluent in French and English and in Spanish. I got the guidance to go and do video in French, and I was in a group of a woman who's famous, Lesley Nase. She's a bit like the opera of the French market. She's incredible young woman, very powerful, and she created these rainbow challenges. Anyway, they did workbooks and all that, and you're in a group and you do the challenge, whether it's health, whether it's creativity, intuition, like this in different areas of life, your body and all that. Anyway, so I did the rainbow challenge, but I became famous in her group. Because the reason was I was very authentic. I was sharing all that I was experiencing myself, and how I was taking care of myself in that journey, especially when they closed the beach down in Sydney. I was like, oh my gosh, that was my go-to, my beaches, don't touch my beach. And so I was singing. I'm an amazing singer. I was showing up in that group of 55,000 French speakers around the world. And from there, like, I've just been able to support myself. I got clients. I started my own French group. And so I grew my business. Like, I was working only in English, but I started to work in French as well. And that was so fun and so rich. And I've been able to help Anick and help a lot of people. And I got into the doing videos thing. I was not familiar with that, but I became actually quite addicted to it. Like, I had a lot of fun doing it. And yeah, so that was a big pivoting moment. That was pretty big. What am I going to do to be at service to the human that I am, and to be at service to my people in the highest here, and going through that, like, not taking all the fears of others. Like, I haven't watched the news for about 15 years. I never watch the news. I don't want to hear the news. It's manipulation anyways. It's not even true. So it's not the world that I live in. I live in my own universe, and I'm happy there. And if you want to come and play with me, you're welcome to. But yeah, so that was pretty big, but I was like, wow, I was guided the whole way, and it was phenomenal experience, so rich. And now I'm in both worlds. I've got clients in Europe, in Canada, and in Australia as well.
So would you say some of the key lessons was you were just guided through that, and you maybe surrendered or went with what was presented to you?
Yeah, I was listening. I've always wanted to go in that French space. It was in the back of my mind somehow. I knew I wanted to experience that challenge. It goes for quite a while. I think I don't know if it's a month, 2 months or something. Yeah, and being resourceful, really, it's what it's all about. It's being resourceful. Okay, I'm here, and I don't want to stay stuck here. I'm not going to sit miserable in my house waiting till COVID stop. I'm going to, you know what I mean? I'm going to be resourceful and creative and tapping into my power, my inner guidance, my bunch of angels who are always here 24/7, and we're going to co-create something here, because my highest value is to have fun, to enjoy this life, and to be freedom. So it's so important to me that it's going to take over. So I'm going to go that direction. Yeah.
Being resourceful and creative. Very nice.
Yeah.
Co-create.
And intuitive, resourceful, creative. Yeah. 100%.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Amber, would you share with us, please?
Sure, absolutely. So a pivotal moment when I had to fight to keep my desire alive. So I had a desire that I didn't, or there was a desire that came up through me that I wasn't even aware of about 4 years ago. My husband and I had been married about a year, and then we decided that we were going to start a family. And lo and behold, it wasn't happening, and it wasn't happening. And so we ended up going to fertility doctor and had an IUI performed, and wow, pregnant, like amazing, so quick, so easy. And then 6.5 weeks in, on my 40th birthday, I had an ectopic pregnancy, and I went through this incredible, painful loss. And was at that time I was running my family's wholesale produce company. It was like a 110-year-old company. I was taking it over. I was third generation. There was all this energy behind me stepping into this role of I was COO, and then at the same time trying to have a baby. And so I was very out of alignment, and it was actually the baby that woke me up. And it was because the stress of my life at that time was immeasurable. And there were so many parts of myself that I had hidden away, that I had tucked away, that were too painful and too scary to ever look at. But all of a sudden, because it was this child, because it was this baby that I was desperately fighting for, that 6.5 weeks had literally ignited something in my body that I had never experienced before in my whole life. And I was like, I will fight for this. I might not fight for myself, but I will fight for this. And what that caused me to do was go beat down every door and face every dragon and do all of the ugly, nasty crying and healing that one person could possibly do. And at the end of it, I had to sacrifice everything that I thought I was building towards. The job, the way, how I was a daughter in my family, how I was leading this company, the life I thought I was building. My desire revealed to me that if I really truly wanted to follow this path, then I was going to have to leave all of that behind. And so I ended up doing just that. I ended up actually really meeting myself and really coming to terms with, wow, I don't love this job. I don't love what I'm doing. I'm doing this out of duty. I'm doing this out of responsibility. I'm doing this because I think I should, because this is what I've been told is success and value and all these things. And I had to do a lot of work with the ego to put all of that to the side and really stand in the unknown, but just so fueled by this desire. And of course, in my healing, what became very clear is that I wanted to help other women, and found and as Anick said, when we get out of our own way, like things just can come in. And Charlotte, you mentioned that too, just allowing things to come in. My business partner arrived on my healing journey. And so it was surrendering the person that I thought that I was to become the person that I am. And so this desire literally carried me through some of the darkest and most challenging times of my life. But now I have a life that I don't need a vacation from, that I feel completely connected to, that I get to be of service to myself and others. So that's my pivotal moment.
That is a very inspiring, pivotal moment to bring up, and going deep within yourself and really digging in for that and fighting for that healing and changing. You said something about the self going from one self to the new self. And I think that's part of the work, period, when we find our burning desire and go for it. Thank you so much. Natasja.
Oh, yeah. And wow, amazing journey you've been on. And my story is not nearly as, I'm going to say, as personal as yours, but it is also about transitioning from one career to the other. But in my case, what I learned was that you can stand with the legs, with your feet on both sides, not as going full out into the brand new one, because not everyone is probably able to do that. I myself wasn't able to. I was working as a legal secretary for more than 20 years. And then the last, I would say, 8 years, maybe, before I finally gave it up completely, I'd already started to notice that this isn't fulfilling me anymore. And of course, it then got to its peak during lockdown, where I'm at home and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, a monkey can do my job. I can't do this one more day. I'm bored out of my mind. And this is lockdown. It just proves my point that there's so little for me to do, because of what I'm doing, anyone can do. That's how I felt in my role. And I've been a secretary for so many years. I can do it with my eyes closed. And that the COVID time then allowed me to then go and study life coaching, because through other things that had happened, big changes or big things I had to confront in myself about who I am, I realized I needed help, but I thought it was to help others, but it turns out that the life coaching was actually more for me. So I did the life coaching course during lockdown, and that gave me confidence. And after that, I then went into Reiki. So the lockdown period was a lot of self-development for me, and it was absolutely needed. And then I couldn't then shut that down. I couldn't go back to working as a legal secretary, just doing my job again when the restrictions were lifted and we were back in the office. It's like I was dying inside, and I was asking those questions like, there should be more to life than this. I can't go on like that. But I still needed to earn a living, and I couldn't make the clean break and start do life coaching full-time, do Reiki full-time. So what I did, and my biggest lesson in all of this, was that if you do find the thing that lights you up, you've got to do whatever it takes to bring even little bits of it into your life. So in my cases, I went to the HR head, I went to the L&D manager and said, I know things about imposter syndrome, about resilience. Maybe I can give talks to the fellow secretaries. Maybe I can do some presentations. I got involved in the wellness committees at work. I wrote the monthly wellness newsletters. I made it known that I am more than just the secretary. I've got another side to me, and that side lit me up and made it, okay, I can go to work tomorrow because I've got to send out the newsletter, as opposed to I've got to go, I have to get up tomorrow morning to go and correct a document or whatever, or do filing. So the challenge was to find a way to incorporate it while I was shifting from one job into the next. Oh, I even on Friday afternoons offered Reiki treatments to my friends. When the lawyers were working from home and the offices were empty, we go into the Friday lunchtime, might I add, not just during the whole day, gave Reiki sessions. So I found ways of bringing in the thing that lights me up so that I could cope with doing the thing that doesn't really light me up anymore. I have to say, I don't know how things would have worked out had we not returned to South Africa, what the next step would have been from trying to merge the two. Don't know how that would have ended up, but I'm just glad it ended up the way it has. So I'm doing full-time what lights me up and I'm living my purpose. But yeah, for anyone who's trying to shift from one to the other, you've got to find a way to bring the passion into your life, even if it's in small little bits, so that you can cope better with the ones that are up to work, that was up to that point training you.
So no matter what, if you have to balance a job and balance your passion, go for it. Great advice. On this last question, we have about 8 minutes left. So short answers. And what I'd really love more than anything in this evolving world, what are some words of wisdom, something that you may not have brought up that you really think is important for people who are trying to ignite their desire or trying to keep it going as things shift and change underneath them? Charlotte, what would you like to leave the audience with?
I think I'd like to leave them with the fact that I do feel that our burning desire are what we are meant to be here for, what our path is actually within us. It's just that we're surrounded by a society that has a tendency to keep us small. So Anick says she hasn't watched news for 15 years, which is probably a good thing, because every time we're watching TV programs or we're seeing advertisements or whatever, it's all designed to keep us in quite a narrow path, as opposed to allowing us to realize that we're incredibly creative beings, we're powerful. We do have natural inspiration within us if it's not pushed down. Even advertisements to say, oh, McDonald's, go and buy McDonald's, it's a really cheap option to eat. Even though consciously you know that's not the right option, it's not the best thing to eat. It's very difficult to overcome when that sort of programming, that sort of pressure. And then we wonder why it's difficult for us to follow a path, or sometimes we find we're veering off and we can't quite work out what we want to do. So I think I'd like to leave people with, spend time with other people that are aligned with what you want. People, for example, if you would like financial abundance, go and speak to people, be with people, talk to people, spend time with people who understand that that's their passion too. That's what they want too. Or if, you want to be an artist, go and hang out with artists who are actually creating these beautiful masterpieces. So just, yes, find the right people to spend your time with.
Very nice. Anick, what would you like to leave people with?
Yeah, I love what you said, Charlotte. Makes so much sense. It's a bit what I was saying about being with the right people who supports you, believe in you. Yeah. Well, you have to say repeat your question for me. Thank you. Your question, Lesley.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. It looked like you froze for a moment.
No.
So just what kind of advice, and this world is evolving and changing.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people? What do you want to leave them with as last thoughts on their desires?
I guess we actually really know deep down Charlotte was also saying earlier on in this panel conversation that if you tune into when you were a kid, a child, what was your favorite game? What did you used to love doing over and over again, like your favorite game? I remember for me, I was putting my mum's clothes and makeup and all. I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, and down the basement of the house in Camp Canadian, right? In the basement, I would invite all the little kids on the street. And if there was no one, I would put all my dolls on little chairs. And I'd talk to them about self-love, self-confidence. And I would end with singing a French song. And I was a teacher. It's in my human design. Someone was talking, Natasja, I think, about human design. I'm a 3/6. I'm a teacher. That's my design. And I was already inspiring and motivating and getting groups together. And I was doing that. No one taught me how to do this. Then we go on a path of taking courses and spending a whole bunch of money to validate who we truly are, which is a ridiculous system that we've created. But I guess my message is, go back to your memories of what takes you in a zone where you can get lost, lose track of time, and being so immersed and absorbed by this passion of yours that you love it so much that whether you paid or not, you could do that day in, day out. Eventually you got to monetize your passion. That's the goal. But that's a tool that works really well to go back to this inner child in your heart and what do you really love, and you're naturally gifted at it. You don't have to learn 1,000 courses. You've got it inside of you. You have to have the guts and the courage to put yourself out there and to put a price tag onto your transmissions, onto the service you're delivering. That's what you need. And that's where a lot of us can get some constipated beliefs there and get some feet around that. But yeah, that's what I would say. Go and have fun. Play. Life is not here to be hard. It's a big playground. Go and explore yourself in this playground. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to play and explore. It's in the actions that we discover who we are. It's not in sitting. This contemplation has its place. Don't get me wrong. Meditation, contemplation has its place for sure, but it's really in the actions, in the go playing, exploring, discovering. If we make mistakes, that's okay to make mistakes. We're allowed to make mistakes. That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. We learn from mistakes. Amber.
Thank you. Yeah. So I think when I think about my desires and what has gotten in the way is typically fear and all of these shoulds and all of this stuff that I've bought into. And one of the things that I have worked on is in looking at, like, with altar constellations and in constellation work of, like, how do you want to feel? Really tapping into, like, how do you want to feel? If you could wave a magic wand, how would you like to feel? And then what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up in order to get closer towards that feeling? And if the feeling is so strong and so beautiful and so full in your body, it'll be really clear what you're willing to let go of in order to get closer to that thing, that place, that embodied, because it's not just up here, it's really a felt sense of this fire within. How can we tap into that and use that as fuel to get us to that next place? So being curious, being courageous, and really coming home to the body and being one with her and helping her let this mission unfold.
Very nice. Thank you. Natasja.
I'm actually going to tie in with what Amber just said. My big takeaway would be to say, keep stoking the fire, that fire of your desire. Don't let it die out. And even if that means you can't do it every day, if you are like I was in the transition phase, or you're stuck in a job where you know what you want to do, but you just can't do it every day, then at least take the time to remember the feeling of living your purpose. And it's to what Anick also said. Use visualization to tap into the memory of when you were last so happy doing, for instance, teaching, and you can't teach. Daily get back to the memory, if it is there. If it's not the memory, visualize yourself doing what you feel passionate about and tap into the emotion of that. But that's the way to keep that fire going, and don't let it burn out. Oh no, you can let it, no. Yeah, don't let it burn out. Don't let it dwindle, and keep it burning and keep stoking the fire. That's what I want to say.
There you go. It's not just enough to ignite it, you have to really fire yourself up. And that's what a burning desire is. I want to thank you all for being here tonight, of your giving your time, your wisdom, your experiences. And I want to thank Sacred You for being the host here. And you'll be able to find the links and the free gifts below in this. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Lesley. I'll come back in now, and thank you for facilitating a wonderful panel. I've been sitting here in the background listening to everyone's sharing your wisdom. So thank you, Natasja, for showing up, and it's now at 2 a.m. for you. Really appreciate. And for Charlotte and for Amber and Anick, again, beautiful sharings of your passion, of your wisdom. I love it. I've been sitting here. Got to talk to you more, Charlotte, about your molasses and lemon juice. I think I grew up on molasses, but never had it with lemon juice.
I know.
But I love it too. All the tips, aligning with the people that are passionate about what we are passionate, helps us so much. Igniting our fire, keep that fire going. And thank you, Anick, for the tip of just giving ourselves permission to play more. Life is meant to be enjoyed. So thank you ever so much. And for more information, of course, do check us out. First of all, click on the links below to connect with these amazing women, to check out everything that they're offering. Really recommend that. And for everything else about Sacred You, check us out at www.sacredyou, it's a letter U, .love. We've got so much on offer. Come and join us for free, which is then just /join free after our website. And again, you get so much. You get panel discussions, all our tribes, podcasts, so many community events. Check it out below. Join us next time. Our beautiful Anick will be back for her panel discussion on Unlock Your Superconscious Truth to Lead with Purpose. Looking forward to that, Anick. Have a beautiful day wherever you are, and we will see you next time.